Village Hall, Denny.
Well,
You're using someone else's technology. You're not using your own.
I said that. I'm in my own chair. Let someone else work.
Wow, he's quick.
Even coffee.
All right, Denny, I think you can start anytime.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. How about roll call?
Trustee Guyer.
Here.
Trustee Spurling.
Here.
Trustee Lee.
Here.
Trustee Betzinger.
Here.
Trustee Youngerman.
Here.
Trustee Marisak.
Here.
Thank you.
And before we get started, we do want to state on the record that this meeting is being held virtually because of the new changes to the Open Meetings Act that allow for such meetings during the COVID pandemic. And that was recently enacted, that now it has to be formally stated. So I'm stating it.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff, did we have anybody send a letter in or anything for public
We
comment?
received no public comments.
Okay, this is the time we have the public have a 2-minute opportunity to talk to us. All right, next is the consent agenda, the minutes of the village board meeting of June 8th, and accounts payable through June 18th to 20 in the amount of $256,305.82. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, Penny.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
And Trustee Betzinger.
Yeah.
All right. Items for separate action. And that's for a professional janitorial service contract extension that was tabled from last meeting. And Mark.
Thank you, Trustee Lee. So as the board may recall from the last meeting, we proposed an extension to the janitorial services to the company that is currently providing these services to the village. There was questions about the language at the bottom of the extension offer letter from Citywide Janitorial Services, which indicated increases that would coincide with the increases that are expected to be for the minimum wage increase for the state of Illinois. So the board asked for some further information regarding what that increase would look like from Citywide, whether hourly, lump sum, or how it would be correlated. So after reaching out to Citywide for better information, they have withdrawn the increase from the language from the extension letter and have stated that they would like to continue service to the village for the original amount, which is $3,657.28. That would be per month for the continuation of the contract. So again, that would be at no cost increase, and they've removed that language. So again, there's several different ideas behind this. One being whether or not it's still for us to go out to bid. Keep in mind that when we kind of elected to bring this in front of the board, we were still in a state of the pandemic in which we kind of had no end in sight. And so I think that was a lot of our driving factor behind really moving towards looking to go out to bid. As things get a little bit closer to stage 4 and become a little bit more of a reality that we may be able to accommodate some site visits and different things, that's also a possibility as well. So I just wanted to state that to the board and just let you know that we're fine either way with the decision that's made, whether to continue services with Citywide or to look to a different vendor. So if there's anybody who has questions, I'm happy to take those at this time.
Any questions from the board?
I don't have so much of a question. I'd recommend we go out to bid at this time. We go into phase 4 this coming Friday. I think the ability to get some competitive pricing on where we're at, and Citywide may be right there. The difference between the last proposal we looked at a couple weeks ago and this one, to me, is pretty significant in the dollars, in the difference in the dollars, which leads me to believe that we might be able to find some savings with some comparable service. And at the end of the day, if not, that's fine. Citywide, I think we're okay with their service right now, but I think the ability to do that due diligence and reach out for some alternate proposals, in my opinion, would be warranted at this time.
Absolutely.
Anybody else feel the same way?
I mean, it's a $43,000 contract, so it doesn't certainly hurt to take a look at it, especially in light of the current situation with people hurting for business and everything. We might be able to find somebody that's hungry.
I'm fine with that.
I agree, 36,000 or 3,600 looks small, but when you times it times 12, it's a bigger contract, so.
And like I said, they might be right in the ballpark, and with that existing relationship, if they are, I think we would give that some consideration.
Everybody's
in that
back to
process.
work now, I think, so you might be right, Tom.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I think I have my direction and appreciate the board's comments.
Very good. All right, next one is Resolution 2020-013 for the Fair Housing Resolution. And Rich?
I'll actually go ahead and take it. These next two items go together hand in hand. The first is a fair housing resolution, which is a requirement for the second item, which is the promissory note for the downstate loan program. And essentially, to participate in the downstate loan program, every municipality has to have a fair housing resolution. So this is just the village enacting the general federal standard saying that it agrees, that fair housing should be afforded to everybody, that people should not be discriminated against when searching for housing, and things of that nature. So I can go ahead and explain the second item now, or I can have everybody review this item first, whatever is the preference of the board.
Anything to add, Phil or Rich? No? All right,
No, that covers it.
okay. We need a motion on that?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Somebody?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second by Youngerman.
Are we discussing item B or both of them together?
B.
We're discussing them separately, Doug.
This
Okay.
is just the condition of C.
Okay.
C, okay.
Trustee Lee, should I call the roll now?
Yes, go ahead, Penny, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Trustee Spurling,
Yes.
Trustee Lee,
Yes,
Trustee Betzinger,
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman,
Yes.
Trustee Marisak,
Yeah.
and Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Thank you.
all right. Number C, you want to explain that a little bit, Rich?
Rich, would you like me to?
Yeah, Laura's going to take the lead on it.
Sure. So item C is a promissory note between Kendall County and the village with regard to the downstate business stabilization program. And how the program operates is that the village's small businesses that are eligible have to apply through the village, in which time the village board will review applications and make a recommendation. As part of that program, if the business defaults, typically the village would be on the hook for repayment to the state, and then the village would recoup the losses against the small business. In this case, Kendall County has agreed to stand in the place of the village to secure that obligation. So if the business were to default, it's Kendall County now that's standing in the place where they'd repay the state. And thereby the village is assigning its rights to Kendall County to go ahead and collect against the business. So this is just really to take the village out of that equation in case there was a default of the small businesses. The village still is going to vet the applications that come through and make the recommendations, but it's just limited to in the case of a default, and that there'd have to be a recoup of those losses, that we allow Kendall County to do that. And I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add.
Any other comments on it? We need a motion for that too?
So moved.
Hold on,
Chris
question.
got a question.
Question?
So, Director Young, was this the program that had something to do with being considered rural versus an urban county?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted clarification on that. Okay.
Yeah, those business applications, then once this is approved, those applications are coming forward and they'd come before the board and there'd be a public hearing prior to the village making any recommendation to the state to loan that money.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Lauren or Rich, what's the timeline on this process? Say we approve this resolution, we do the loan. What kind of timeline are we looking for? Implementation, distribution of funds? What's the repayment kind of time frame on this?
We would have to take applications and publish for a public hearing before the village board. So that will add a little bit of time to it. In terms of running it through the state, I don't know exactly how long before funding would be in place from the state. We just haven't had that experience yet, so I can't really answer. I can try to find out how it's going with other communities, but I don't know the time frame.
Yeah, it would
Thank
just
you.
come. Yeah, I don't know what the state's parameters are. The village, as soon as it starts advertising, can take applications, and it's a 7-day window, but it doesn't count the day of publication and the day of the board meeting. So it's essentially 9 days prior to the board acting upon it that it has to be published. But other than that, the time frame is more or less set by either the state or the village's publication of materials and just advertising.
And then is it businesses that are located in Kendall County?
Yes.
Limited.
Not
Yes.
paying. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments? Everybody wave at Steve's little daughter. Okay.
Morgan just wanted a shout out.
Yeah, we already have a motion and a second. Want to take the roll?
Motion.
Pardon?
Motion?
Somebody gave a motion earlier before I said to Treese, didn't they? No?
Trustee Guyer had given a motion.
Okay.
Aye.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, Penny.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling? Yes. Trustee Lee?
Yes?
Trustee Betzinger?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Okay, items for discussion. Draft 2020 pavement management study report. Pete or Rich? Pete?
Pete. You're on mute, Pete.
Pardon?
Yeah, sorry.
Engineer
so this is-
Wallers, if you could throw pavement condition index in there 2 or 3 times, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay, so the report has been issued in draft form. We're happy to answer any questions on it. The 5-year plan is the same as what was presented at the last meeting. And it just, puts the details of the entire study in one document, includes the PCIs for all the streets, that sort of thing. So that's where we're at. So the report is we're hoping to ask for final approval at the first meeting in July, and then we'll use that as the basis for moving forward with our next year's program. So happy to take any questions now. We don't have a formal presentation this evening, or if you have questions between now and the next meeting, you can reach out and I'll be happy to respond to those. The best place to get me, if you're going to call me, is on my cell number, and if I'll respond to emails or text anytime as well.
Okay. Next is new and unfinished business. Anybody got any? Teresa?
I do.
I knew you would.
Last week, the Rotary Club of Montgomery hit our 5 years since chartering, which is a pretty big deal. We can kind of stand on our own now. We don't have to borrow credentials from our sponsoring club. I also wanted to point out that the lady that I founded the club with, Mira Johnson, was recognized for outstanding service to the district. She is she's focused on starting new clubs throughout the entire district, which is something she was very, very interested in. So I just want to point out that our club is really producing some significant leaders. Our outgoing president, who served the last 2 years, she is moving on to serve the district as an assistant governor. So we're still quite the powerhouse in the district, and we have a very good reputation throughout the district.
Good. Anybody else?
Nice job, Teresa.
I got 2 quick things. One, with the new governor signed a proclamation declaring November 3rd basically a state holiday for the election this fall. This is for Jeff. Have we decided how we're treating that for staff? Obviously, buildings are closed, most their polling place, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I checked with Laura, and per that, we should be closed on that day. So,
I guess the question that I would have would be, when it relates to staff, is that a paid holiday? Is that a day off unpaid? Is that, how are we treating that from a?
I mean, my understanding from the act is it's a paid holiday that the governor added. So I don't know if Laura has any.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well at this point. So unless something comes out that further clarifies, I think that's the approach that we've all been taking.
Thank you. Second question for tonight, maybe for Rich, with phase 4, ideally kicking Friday here in our region, indoor dining goes back in at 50% capacity or square footage. Have we had any inquiries on businesses retaining the outdoor seating arrangements that we have set up? I just don't recall offhand what the kind of sunset on that arrangement was, or if there was.
Well, we've been meeting with the businesses, the restaurants that have the temporary outdoor seating, and we know of 2 that want to make that permanent. And so they're going to be coming before the Plan Commission for permanent outdoor dining, special use, and then ultimately onto the village board. So there'll be some time lapse in between, when the governor goes to phase 4 and when those come to the Plan Commission. But our intention would be to allow them to continue to have the temporary outdoor dining as they've had the last several weeks, and then move forward with outdoor dining, permanent outdoor dining special use.
I believe the way it ran with what you adopted was that it ran in conjunction with the emergency declaration, but the board had the right to end it sooner.
Thank you.
So we'd recommend that you not end it sooner, obviously, and allow them in this grace period to move on with what they've been doing.
Absolutely.
I was over in front of Grandma's table, I think yesterday, and saw that they had an excavator in their front parkway. I knew that they had saw cut the asphalt. Looks like they were expanding their outside seating area. What are they doing in front of the building?
They were putting in some new sidewalk and then redoing their handicap access ramp to the front door.
Okay.
I believe they actually had 2, and now they're taking those 2 out, putting in sidewalk. So that will be in front of what would be a new railing and patio area, and then relocating their required handicap access.
Mark?
Okay, thank you.
Rich, if I can interject, I think what he's referring to, we had a water main break in front of Grandma's table, coincidentally too as well. So the excavator was more than likely for that work. I don't believe they've started any of the other construction yet, Rich. So that's what it was related to. We had a contractor come in and dig on Saturday night and fix that water main break.
I haven't been out that long, but I did go to 1 and 8 outside, and the owner was just really expressed the thanks to the board for letting him do that, because he was doing all right with carryout, he said, but it really expanded to the outside, and he's one that wants to have it there all the time, because some of his guys like to watch cars go back and forth or something. So he's very happy with that, and so I think that's a good idea in fact, all of them. Yesterday on Father's Day, I know the corner restaurant, Riverview, had a huge crowd. And of course, it's Father's Day, but he had a very nice, his platform outside was a lot of people on it. So I think it helped all the restaurants getting back open, even part-time like. All right, anybody else new finished business? I presume maybe our next meeting we will be here. And Jeff, is that going to be fixed upstairs and everybody's going to be back by then?
I don't know. I'm still waiting. Let's see when we'll have all the materials in. So.
Okay.
We met with the contractor last week. They came in to do digital measuring. The project right now appears to be probably the first week of July is what their target date is. So we'll have more information here in the next week or so, but unfortunately the glass is the material that is going to have the longest lead time on it. So we wanted to get that ordered as soon as we can. So as soon as we can get a better timeline, I'll be sure to share that with the board.
Okay. Any other questions? Discussion? Anything? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Motion?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn? All right.
So moved.
That was trustee Youngerman. Who was second, please?
Doug Mercer.
Thank you. Would you like me to call the roll, trustee Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Youngerman,
Yes.
trustee Marisak,
Yes.
trustee Guyer,
Yes.
trustee Spurling,
Yes.
trustee Lee,
Yes.
trustee Betzinger.
Yes.
Thank you.